Man, I'm super excited for everything coming up.
Nice.
Be specific. There's a lot of stuff coming up. What everything?
Well, so coming back to the basics of what kind of Zen stands for, is I started watching some older interviews, not from Jack, but just kind of like he ended up talking back in the day about this idea of a hyperstructure. And I was watching an interview with Tom Bilyeu and Peter Diamandis. And these guys are massive VC dudes. And they're starting to push this idea now in the business world about EXO companies. And essentially what EXO companies are, the decentralized companies. And everything I was kind of talking about was everything that kind of Zen stood for. So the way a lot of these extremely successful companies operate is they allow for autonomous kind of departments in their organization. So let's say you have one business, like the way Google does it as an example. Google creates like very small teams of like 12 to 20 people. I heard they do it now. There's a bunch of Chinese companies that do it. But they create these autonomous groups of like people and they put them in teams. And they can work on whatever they want to work on and they just have a target they focus on. But there's no micromanagement. So they kind of try to create these decentralized organizations where you have multiple teams of people building stuff for the same purpose. And in crypto, that's just kind of how crypto operates. Like, hey, here's a crypto coin, people build on it. Zen is kind of the only one where I've really seen it get adoption. It's either, like Zen is the only ERC20 that has this. Usually it's a layer one, like Pulse for example, that has developers building on it. But Zen is like the only ERC20 that has that kind of effect to it, which is very interesting. So it is very interesting to think about all of the builders that are kind of building in the Zen ecosystem. They're kind of all of these autonomous teams across the world, all focused on the one kind of purpose of what Zen stands for, which is fair launches, fair crypto, self-custody, power to the user, proof of participation.
A 1-day mint. So the process of onboarding your user is going to take maybe 3 days because they're going to need to go to Zen.network. They're going to need to do one VMU for 1 day, right? And you got to structure your app based on that one VMU that creates the Zen. So some networks right now, it's like maybe you get like 30 Zen for one VMU for 1 day, or 30,000, excuse me. So like that's what it would be. Like you would make it so that someone doesn't have to spend much of an economical exchange in order to get your token. So then you just do the same thing on the deployer. Like, okay, to get this, you need at least 30,000 Zen. And it's like, oh yeah, you could go and just do, you just go and make the Zen, then you go and burn the Zen, and now you got this new coin. And then if you're the person that created the coin and make the liquidity pool desirable, now you've got a user. You bootstrap the user without having to do anything. All you did was tell them to go and make some Zen and come back in 3 days.
About like, hey, build some stuff that buy and burn Zen.
Yeah.
I started building. So it is because the burning of Zen doesn't push the price. I care about price. I care about ROI. So something that pushes the price chart up. So I've been looking into a bunch of different DeFi protocols and thinking about how to, because I used to be a software engineer, so I can write the code myself. I've been learning Solidity. It's pretty much the exact same as JavaScript. As long as you understand blockchain security, is pretty good, and you get it audited. But the major thing that is missing in the Zen ecosystem is a buy and burn. Just a protocol that people use that collects protocol fees and then uses it to buy Zen off the market and burn it. So I'm working on that stuff because I think it's the missing element to this whole kind of Zen ecosystem. And then you fair launch it and you're gonna do it that way. But because the burning of Zen is good, but then you do kind of create a scenario where if you really want to create a hyperstructure, all of these other projects built on top of Zen should in some way always come back to the home ship, to the mothership, which is Zen. By the participation in these other like Zen derivative protocols, it should pump the Zen price. That's how I think about hyperstructure. So might be working on something.
Nice.
Finally. So we're there.
So I like what you're saying. So I mean, let's just use DBZen as an example. So instead of having the ETH go to a pool that pays the people out, you could have the ETH go to a contract that buys and burns Zen. Is that what you are thinking?
Example. Yep.
Okay.
Burn a Centurion, let's say that has 4 billion Zen, that's 4 Ethereum. That's going to be 40 grand top of bull market to wrap as NFT. It's like, if somebody is going to spend 40 grand to wrap as NFT, come on, take a chunk of that and buy and burn Zen off the market, please. Like, why is all of this wasted economic energy just kind of, I don't like it.
Chart go up.
Interesting question.
Yeah.
It is. Zen is going through its kind of infancy period now. It's it's most inflation, and now we just need to get the builder ecosystem kind of building. I think this is kind of what I want to build. You constantly heard Jack and Zensu talk about the idea that Zen is peer-to-peer cash. They don't talk about the idea that Zen is designed to pump. So it is what it is. But what if you can turn your Zen into something? And I think this is the major idea. What if you can turn your Zen into something that is designed to pump? I want to build that because then you can take your Zen, you can transmute it into something that has better price fundamentals, buy and burns built into it, supply lockups, etc., etc.
The community that, hey, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. So when it came to ETH, it was a big deal. People had practiced, they had known the game theory, and people went in hard on it. Because I mean, I think
what if you launched on Pulse Chain first?
Well, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's one I've been thinking about. I'm like, I can't believe no one's used the Pulse chain for a release yet. That's some alpha though. So I'm surprised more people haven't done it because there's some people over there that are ready to burn their Zen.
Well, I got a little alpha for you. I haven't verified this yet, but I just got a text from a trusted friend that says Apex Zen FTs are live on Pulse Chain. He just got his first Zunicorn.
Ooh.
So that's happening. I don't know if that matters to some people.
No, that's good for Zen Game.
That's good for Zen Game.
Zen
Yeah.
Game.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Actually, coming back on the DB Zen clone, I've been looking very deeply into the DB Zen code and stuff. I think it could be done a lot better when it comes from a game theory perspective. So I'll share a lot more detail on it once it's actually built out, because now it's just me, 55 Google Sheets, 35 slide decks, 3 Figma boards, and a bunch of simulations.